honest should I be with my wife? Yeah, I think we're going to do this. We're going to need a little help on this one. Hold on. Yeah, let's get into it. So, how honest should you be with your wife? Depends on how much trouble you're in. In all seriousness, this is more about just basic relationship stuff. I'm no relationship expert, but I have been married twice. So that means I at least screwed up once and then get it right the second time. I've been with my current wife 24 years. My wife. I don't plan on ever having another one. We've been together, it'll be 24 years in June. 2 kids. Been married 19 years this year. Yeah, I'd say we're doing something right. Being honest, yeah, you got to be honest with your spouse. How honest is always the question. So recently, I had a young guy ask me that. It's like, just how brutally honest should I be? And I'm like, oh, there's a difference between being honest and being brutally honest. When she says, does this dress make me look fat? And maybe it does. Don't say, yeah, you look like a whale. Don't do it. Don't. Don't be an ass. But also, you ought to be like, I don't really think that dress is for you. Be careful, because the rebound on that one could be pretty nasty. Depends on the girl. Now, if she's your wife or your girlfriend, your significant other, I would hope you love her, and I would hope you love her for who she is and how she is. That doesn't mean that maybe all of us could use a little changing every once in a while, or maturing, but you love them for who and what they are. Hold on. Oh, speaking of the wife. Yeah, okay, she's leaving work, heading home. All right, I better get this done before I get in trouble. Um, my wife will say to me things like, you know, God, my gray hair is looking like hell. I look like crap with gray hair. No, she doesn't. And I'll be like, no, babe, it looks like she doesn't have a lot. She's got some. You kind of get a look to see them. And I'm like, you look fine. In all honesty, yeah, I would probably rather she didn't have gray hair, but I'm not one to talk. I don't have a ton in my hair, my beard, and that's why I shave it a lot. I got patches of white. It's screwy in the camera because I always want to look the opposite way, and when I shoot videos on the wife's channel, my camera's over there, so I'm so used to looking that way. But with this one, I have it here because I want like all of her stuff for her channel. This is part of it. A lot of this stuff is. I don't want it in the shot, but I can't have my camera facing that way because there's a bunch of stuff there I don't want everyone to see in my house, in my end of my bedroom. Just stuff that I just assume stay out of sight. Nothing like weird or anything like that. It's not like that. It's more just messy. Be honest. Always, always honesty in every relationship like that. Be fair with your comments, and what I mean by be fair, there's that line between telling them the truth and not hurting their feelings. Be fair about it. My wife said to me once, quite a few years ago now. Now our kids are 16 and almost 19. And she said something to me. She's like, am I getting fat? I think is how she worded it. And I'm like, look, both of us are overweight. Both of us need to lose weight. It's no secret. I'm overweight. I'm working on it, but I'm overweight. And she was some too. And it was like, okay, that was kind of being more fair about it. It's not like, yeah, you're getting kind of fat. It was, hey, both of us need to lose weight. Be honest, be upfront. Don't be a dick. You young guys out there, man, Look, I don't envy you at all dating in today's world. I don't one bit. I hear from some of them. I see stuff. You know, I watch a fair amount of YouTube and YouTube shorts and videos and just even out and about. And I see how some of the young couples talk with each other, how anything sets some people off. My son and his girlfriend sometimes, it's like, what the hell? The simplest thing sets some of them off. It's like, well, wait a minute, back up. My wife and I will get upset with each other, and sometimes they're like, yeah, whatever, and just walk away just because like, I just need a minute to cool down. But that's it. You know, we have never gotten into a fight like that. You know, the biggest thing that's come to is I've said, okay, I'm gone for right now, and walked out, got in my vehicle, and left. 3 hours later, I came home. It's like, okay, I'm in a better headspace right now. You know, it was just stress and anxiety and everything piling on. It's like, okay, give me a little bit. I just need to get out and just crank some music, drive around, think a bit, and go, okay, you know what? Let's fix this mess. And quite often, a lot of it, it was me. You know, but it wasn't always just me. So you got to be fair in the sense of what's really going on, how you explain it, who's at fault. Chances are both of you are, but be honest with her. Tell her what you like. Tell her what you want, what your hopes and dreams are. If she ridicules you, if she's like, what the hell are you telling me this shit for? Dude, she ain't the one. You know, you may have slightly different hopes and dreams and goals, even very different, but you need to find common ground. You need to come together with it. You know, I absolutely love hunting. My wife isn't. It's not something she's ever really cared about. Her dad and brother do it, or her dad did. He's just recently passed, but you know, so she grew up around it, but it just wasn't her thing. She knows it means a lot to me. Here in Maine, October, November is when I do most of my hunting on Saturdays and stuff. So that's when she knows those days he's not going to be around. But I make up for it the rest of the year by being there with her as much as I can. I know there's certain things that she loves to go and do that don't interest me one damn bit. She used to love to go to bingo. I have no desire to do that. I would much rather have to clean the gutters than go to bingo. Maybe you like it. I don't know. Not for me. It's finding that middle ground. Be honest with yourself. Be honest with her. Be honest with everybody around you. There is nothing worse than starting to get into the whole lies, and now you got to try to remember, shit, what did I say? So you don't get caught in it. Just be honest, you don't have to frickin' worry about it. Now, when you get older like me, about 50, you're going to start forgetting even when you did tell the truth what you said because you're just getting older and you're like, I don't really care. There's too much crap floating around up here. I can't remember it all. Well, you know, that happens. And my wife understands that now, and she's 5 years younger than me, so. But yeah, she's like, well, didn't you just say? I'm like, did I? She's like, yes, you did. And you have to learn to trust each other. Um, God love her, but my wife isn't much of a cook. That's why I do the cooking. She'll cook things once in a while, and sometimes it's okay, pretty good, and sometimes well, I'll eat it, but you know, and is it okay? Yeah, babe, it's not fine. It's pretty good, and leave it at that because it ain't worth it. It just ain't worth it. Um, when it comes to picking out stuff for in the house, if it's something that's like, look, I'm not even going to look at it anyways. I don't really care what color the throw cushions are because I'm just going to throw them out of my way. Or, that painting on the wall over there, I don't even know it's there. Pick whatever the hell you want. I don't care. What color we going to paint walls? Well, now I'm going to get in and we're going to be like, well, we better both agree on it. Especially since I'm going to be the one painting it for the most part. Uh, you know, being upfront, open, and honest in a relationship. Job number one. Do that. The amount of people, not just you younger generations, like the younger millennials and Gen Z, it's people, Gen Xers like me, it's people older than me that I've seen it with too, that just, sometimes they just bicker with each other all the damn time. It's like, what are you doing together? Life's going to be miserable. Oh, I don't want to be alone. Well, I'd rather be alone than be with that or deal with that. when my wife will say to me, "Hey, what's wrong? What's bothering you?" A lot of times I'm like, "Nothing." And yeah, there's shit bothering me, but I don't want to drag her down into it. But you do have to, at some point, let them know. If they're the one, if they're the right person for you, they're going to want to help you in whatever way they can and they think you need slash want. If they know all that you need or want is somebody to listen to them rant about something, they'll do that. If they know that you're the type of person that's going to rant and then hope that they give you some opinions, they'll do that. Trust me, guys, women usually don't have any problem with giving their opinions on shit. Sometimes to the point where you get tired of hearing it. But you're going to hear it. It's all part of it. You know, my son deals with that sometimes. Like I said, him and his girlfriend, well, actually now, fiance, they've been together 4 years. Yeah, they just graduated last year, but they've been together 4 years. We all knew it was coming. They just recently got engaged. I'm happy for them. They got a lot of maturing to do. They're not planning on necessarily getting married like right this year. Um, but, you know, it was just kind of the logical next step for them. I hope everything works out great. But again, maturity comes into it. I wouldn't get married if I had to do it all over again until I was probably later 20s for me. I didn't have, I was almost 31 when my son was born. Um, you know, and then almost, 3 years later, our daughter was born. So that worked out perfect for me. Having a bigger age difference, my wife and I at 5 years. If we had waited till she was 30, I would have been mid 30s, you know, and she was more than willing to have kids in her mid 20s. For her, she's like, I think it's better. So that's what she did. That's what we did. But we were honest about the discussion, you know. 2 kids was it. That was all I was willing to go. I come from a family of 4 kids. She comes from a family of 2. Uh, Her mother's one of 11 kids. I have other family members that have multiple kids. No, 2. She wanted a son, you know, a girl. I wanted a son. We got a son and then a daughter. If our daughter had been a boy, I don't know if we'd have had a third. Although there's a good possibility we would have, because, you know, she would have battled her pretty little eyes and wiggled her butt at me, and yeah, it probably would have happened. You know, I can't overstress how important it is to be open and just talk. We will sometimes go for drives for hours and do nothing but talk. Put the damn phones down, shut the TVs off, shut the radio off, whatever, and just talk. And make sure you still know each other well. You know, what's going on in your lives, what people are thinking, and how they're feeling about stuff, and your hopes and dreams together. After a number of years we've been together, there's a lot of things we've accomplished. There's things we haven't. You know, we want to, when our daughter graduates high school and heads off to college, at some point we want to take a big trip. It'll be over 25 years we've been together at that point. It'll be 27 by the time she graduates. So we will have been together, I think it is. And, or 26, be 26 years that we will have been together at that point. Because she'll graduate 2028. So, it's just, we want to do that. Exactly what do we want to do for a trip? Fortunately, we're both kind of on the same page of stuff, but you got to figure that out together. When it comes to things we want to do around the house here, it's got to be done together. Raising the kids, was one of the big things. We both had some different point of views and still do about things when it comes to the kids. You got to make compromises. It's like, you know, she had certain ideals of how she wanted things. I had certain ideals about me, how I wanted things. And we both had certain areas we weren't really willing to budge much on. Fortunately, our ideals that we weren't willing to budge on were were so close to each other that we were basically just able to say, okay, here's kind of the middle ground between the two, and that works. Um, we put school ahead of just about everything when it came to them. We wanted them to be involved in sports or some sort of activity, simply because it was good for them. Something outside of school. They had chores to do, work, things like that. A little ginger ale and whiskey never hurt anybody. This actually isn't bad whiskey. I am certainly not sponsored because at the time of this recording this video, this channel has 0 subscribers because I haven't put any of them out yet. But Proper 12, it's not bad. I think it's better than Jameson's, and I like Jameson's when I mix a drink. Anyhow, that's another thing. Don't get too carried away with the drink, guys. It's all fun and games until you screw up. This is my first whiskey drink in 5 months. Said, here's my bottle. There's the level right there. So, in reality, maybe a little over half, because I fill it about to there. I've maybe had about half of it. I don't know if this one has a date. Usually there's a tag on there when it was the like the tax stamp here for the state of Maine tag. Sometimes I think there's a date on it. I guess it really doesn't. Yeah, that fell off or something. I think I've had this year and a half, something like that. That shows you how much I drink. I'll have a Seagram's, like, they're a tropical, like, wine cooler type thing. I enjoy them once in a while when I'm watching football. That's it. I'm not a beer drinker, so. Getting back to the honesty part. If you're not doing things you shouldn't do, you've got nothing you've got to lie about. I think is one of the biggest things. Now, when I've come home with new toys from Cabela's or, Harbor Freight or Tractor Supply, do I tell her the exact dollar amount? Since I handle the banking stuff mostly because she doesn't want to, no, I don't always tell her how much. Oh, it was about $300. Well, about $300 rounded down from like $385. I don't really think I lied. I might not have been the most honest about that. But I also knew we could afford it. Or else I wouldn't have bought it. Things like that. And she does the same thing when she goes out and buys things for herself. So, and she's like, how many pieces of pizza did you have? At least 4. Well, it may have been 8, but that at least 4 is still not really lying. I had 4 plus 4 more. That's why I'm fat. Stupid shit like that. Okay. Just don't be the type that can't be honest with your wife, can't be honest with yourself, and be honest with your kids and your family and your friends. Now, when it comes to friends, for me, as a guy, if my friend looks at me and says, geez, does this shirt look stupid? Yes. I don't care if the shirt looks great. You look like a fucking idiot. That's the only acceptable answer that my friends will accept from me. Yes, you look like hell. My mom got it for me. Your mom has better taste than that. I know damn well she does. Don't know what she was thinking. You look like an idiot. Because that's my friends. And they're going to say the same exact thing to me. Doesn't matter. They could have the same shirt on. They're like, yeah, you look stupid. I look great in it. They'll say, you look stupid. Because that's how guys are with each other. At least guys of my generation are. And I've heard my son say the same thing to his best friends. So, that's just how we are. You don't say that to your wife. Does this shirt look okay? No, you look stupid. Do you enjoy sleeping on your couch? Do you enjoy, having her angry with you? Do you want to close your eyes and roll over with her in bed with you? Now, I'm about 5'10", and unfortunately weigh about 240 pounds, 235 pounds. Like I said, overweight. I know I've said that a lot, but I am. Um, and I'm a, pretty decent sized guy. My wife is 4'11", and I don't know exactly what she weighs, but maybe 135 pounds, 140 pounds. She's not fat by any means, but she's also not a stick figure. Um, and yeah, I'm scared of her. Not scared, scared. I'm scared of what she's going to do when I'm not paying attention. Fortunately for me, her head hits a pillow and she falls asleep, and I'm awake for an hour and a half, 2 hours, and then I fall asleep. But she wakes up before me, well, for the day, most days, a little bit before I do. She's up at 4 a.m., I'm up 4:30, 5 o'clock. Um, you know? So don't get them angry. Don't be stupid. Be honest. Don't be overly honest. A little white lie now and then. No, honey, that dress looks amazing on you. No, I think your hair looks perfect like that. Because, quite frankly, ladies, if you are watching this, most of us guys don't care. And it doesn't mean that we don't care about you. You look great, you know? And it's like, yeah, you look good in that, you look good in that, you look good in that, you look good in nothing. Which, to be honest, that's what most of us guys want to see you in. Is nothing, for our spouse. I don't really care to see other women naked too much anymore in my life. Just my wife. Sorry, but that's the way it goes. Um, for me, I turn the lights off when I get changed because nobody wants to see that, including me. Be honest with you, with her, with everybody. Don't be a dick. Don't lie. That's how honest you should be with your wife. And the whiskey sometimes helps. Too much makes you a little too honest. Don't go there. Hey, be safe, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye. And yes, I'm sober. I just mixed that up for a bit for on here. I probably won't even finish it because I'm not feeling like it today. Take it easy. Bye.